What if the pill you take every single night, the one your doctor prescribed years ago, the one you never questioned of, is quietly stealing your memory? Not all at once. Just a little fog in the morning, a name you can't quite reach, a conversation you swore you had but can't remember. And the terrifying part? These aren't obscure drugs. These are the most commonly prescribed pills in America. For sleep, allergies, your bladder, your heart, taken by millions of people over 60 every single day. And not one of them received a warning about what these medications can do to the aging brain over time. Today I'm going to name all 8 of them, explain what they do inside your brain, and tell you what you can do, starting tonight, to protect yourself. My name is Dr. Michael Carter. I'm a neurologist with over 23 years of experience specializing in cognitive decline and brain health in adults over 60. I've spent my career studying why some people age with sharp, clear minds and why others don't. And one pattern shows up more than any other. Patients who come to me with memory problems are often on medications that nobody, not one doctor ever connected to what was happening in their brain. Margaret had started forgetting appointments. She'd repeat the same question in the same conversation. She'd walk into a room and stand there, completely blank. Her family was terrified it was Alzheimer's, but when I reviewed her medication list, I found the answer almost immediately, and it wasn't a disease, it was 3 pills. A sleep aid she'd taken every night for 4 years. A bladder medication her gynecologist prescribed, and an antihistamine she bought at 3 medications, all completely legal, all completely common, and all 3 were on the list I'm about to share with you right now. Within 6 months of carefully adjusting those medications, working with her full care team, Margaret's began to return. She said, "I have my mother back." Margaret had 6 of the 8 signs I'm going to show you today. The question is, Dev, how many do you recognize in yourself or someone you love? Here is what the science tells us. A landmark study published in JAMA Internal Medicine analyzed the records of more than 3,000 seniors over 10 full years. The American Geriatric Society has formally flagged several of these medications as inappropriate for adults over 65. The researchers found that people who regularly used a specific class of medications had up to a 55% higher risk of dementia. The good news is that for many of these medications, safer alternatives exist. Conversations can be had, steps can be taken. Many general practitioners have heard of that list. Very few discuss it openly with their patients. That silence is exactly what I'm here to break today. Here are the 8 pills that can trigger memory loss and dementia after 60. The first is diphenhydramine, sold as Benadryl. Most people assume these are harmless, no prescription needed, sold right next to the vitamins. Surely if they were dangerous, someone would have said something by now. Here's what's actually happening inside your brain. Diphenhydramine belongs to a class called anticholinergics, drugs that block. Acetylcholine is the chemical your brain depends on for memory formation, attention, and clear thinking. It's the same neurotransmitter that is. Think of acetylcholine like the Wi-Fi signal in your brain. When it's strong, information flows clearly. And the risk didn't stay flat, it grew steadily with every additional year of cumulative exposure. The longer the use, the deeper the damage. Mayo Clinic research shows CBTI is more effective than sleep medication long-term and it leaves your brain completely untouched. The second pill is oxybutynin, sold as ditropan enterosteres, and tolterodine, sold as Detrol. Most people assume a bladder medication stays in the bladder. It deals with one problem in one place. What they don't know is that these drugs, the American Geriatric Society recommends specifically avoiding it in older adults Yet it remains one of the most commonly prescribed. Think of it like cutting power to the whole building just to silence a fire alarm in one room. The alarm stops but now nothing else in the house works the way it should. Research in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults taking bladder anticholinergics showed measurable reduction. My recommendation? Newer bladder medications like mirabegron work through a completely different mechanism and carry none of the same anticholinergic burden. Ask your urologist specifically about mirabegron by name. It exists, it's accessible, and it does the job without touching your brain chemistry. The third pill is benzodiazepines, prescribed for sleep, anxiety, and muscle tension. Brand names. Most people assume that because their doctor prescribed it, long-term use must be safe. Short-term, for specific situations. These drugs slow the central nervous system by enhancing a chemical called GABA. In older brains, think of your brain at night like a filing system. Deep sleep is when memories get properly stored. Benzodiazepines lock the A large study published in the BMJ followed more than 9,000 seniors and found that those taking benzodiazepines and the risk wasn't random, it grew in direct proportion to how long and how frequently the medication was taken. Duration was everything in that data. My recommendation? Never stop benzodiazepines abruptly. That can be dangerous. Work with your doctor on a gradual. The fourth pill is proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, sold as omeprazole, Nexium, and Pracid. Most people assume a heartburn pill has nothing to do with the brain. It's your stomach. Your brain is somewhere else entirely. But here's the connection most doctors never explain. PPIs reduce stomach acid but stomach acid is essential for absorbing vitamin B12, and B12 is critical for ears. Without adequate B12, without aleth degrelve, that sheath degrades. Nerve communications. Long-term PPI use strips that insulation away slowly and invisibly while you go about your day completely unaware that anything is happening inside your brain. A study in JAMA Neurology found that people over 75 using PPIs regularly had a significantly higher incidence of dementia compared to those who did not use them. A separate analysis in the journal Nutrients confirmed the direct link between long-term PPI use and severe B12 depletion. My recommendation, if you've been on a PPI for more than 3 months, ask your doctor to check your B12 levels. The test is simple, and the results can be eye-opening. The fifth pill is statins for cholesterol-lowering medications like atorvastatin and rosuvastatin, sold as Lipitor and Crestor. Most people assume that because statins protect the heart, they must protect the brain too. The relationship is more complicated, and for some older adults, think of cholesterol in the brain like mortar between bricks. Some mortar is essential. The structure can't hold without it. The brain is approximately 60% fat. Cholesterol isn't just a risk factor, it's a structural component of every neuron. The FDA has required a label update on all statins, acknowledging reports of memory loss and cognitive impairment in some patients. My recommendation, do not stop your statin without talking to your doctor. The cardiovascular risks are real. Report memory changes and ask about alternatives. Different statins cross the blood-brain barrier very differently. That single variable can make all the difference for your cognition without compromising your heart protection at all. The sixth pill is tricyclic antidepressants, older medications like amitriptyline, nortriptyline, and doxepin. Tricyclics are heavily anticholinergic. They block acetylcholine significantly and many seniors have been on them for years. Most people assume that treating depression protects the brain and it does. Untreated depression in seniors is its Research from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health confirmed that tricyclics carry one of the highest You don't have to figure out the alternative yourself. That's your doctor's job. Your job is simply to ask the question out loud and make sure it gets answered before you leave that office. The seventh pill is older beta blockers, specifically atenolol and pranolol, used daily. Think of the blood-brain barrier like a border checkpoint. Most things can't pass through, but certain beta blockers. A study in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension found that beta blockers crossing the blood-brain barrier were associated with significantly greater Bring this up directly with your cardiologist. Ask specifically which class of blood pressure medication is safest for. My recommendation: newer beta blockers like nebivolol have far lower blood-brain barrier penetration. Most people assume opioids are only used short-term. What isn't discussed often enough is what happens to the aging brain when these. The eighth pill is opioid pain medications, NES, hydrocodone, oxycodone, and tramadol. Opioids bind to receptors throughout the brain and body. Older adults whose liver and kidney function medications more slowly. Think of opioids in the aging brain like running a powerful industrial fan inside a small room. The CDC has published specific guidelines warning that seniors are 2 to 3 times more sensitive to opioid effects than younger patients. My recommendation: for chronic pain in older adults, physical therapy, topical anti-inflammatories, and low-dose naltrexone. That sensitivity doesn't show up on the prescription label. It doesn't come with a warning sticker. It simply accumulates. Before I move forward, I want to ask you something directly. Of the 8 medications I just covered, how many are currently in your medicine cabinet or in the cabinet of someone you love? If opioids are truly necessary, the lowest effective dose for the shortest possible time is the guiding principle. Type the number in the comments right now. Just the number, 1, 2, 3, or more. You don't need to share your name or your story, just the number. Because when I see those numbers, it tells me this information is reaching the people who need it most, and that matters more to me than anything else on this channel. And if this video is already changing the way you think about what's in your daily routine, take 2 seconds and hit the like button right now. Let's bring everything together, because you now have information that most people your age have never been given by any doctor in any office at any point in their lives. Number 3. Benzodiazepines, Xanax, Valium, Ativan, locking the brain's memory filing system during sleep. Number 1. Diphenhydramine were found in Benadryl, blocking acetylcholine every single night. Number 2. Oxybutynin and tolterodine. Every time you do, YouTube shows this to one more senior who may be on one of these medications right now and has absolutely no idea what it could be doing to their brain. Number 5. Statins, which for a meaningful subset of older adults interfere with the brain's cholesterol-dependent repair process. Here is the one thing I want you to do tonight. Pull out every prescription bottle you take regularly and search each medication alongside the words anticholinergic or cognitive side effects. Number 7. Older beta blockers like atenolol, crossing the blood-brain barrier and altering brain chemistry directly. Write down anything that concerns you. Then bring that list to your next appointment and ask the question out loud. That single conversation could change. If you have a parent, a spouse, a sibling, anyone over 6 who takes a daily medication, please share this video with them right now. You might be the reason they have that conversation with their doctor. You might be the reason they don't lose any more of themselves. That is not a small thing. And if you want to keep protecting your brain, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because next week I'm going to show you the 7 foods neurologists say foods most people think are unhealthy, but that actually feed your mind in ways science is only now beginning to fully understand. You do not want to miss that one.